Hi, everybody. My name is Bill Warner, and I'm with EntreDot. Welcome to Monday Night Live with EntreDot on Facebook Live. Glad to see you again. Hey, this is a subject, I call it working the room. That's the name of the subject for today, working the room. But it's all about how to conduct yourself at networking events that you attend. So let me go through this a little bit with you. I think it might be helpful because networking, in some people's eyes that I've talked to, has a bad name. It hasn't worked for them for whatever reason. And there are reasons why it might not be working for them, and it might be because they're not making it work right. So let me share this with you. But before we start, this all goes way back to when you did your market research for your business. In your market surveys and in the interviews that you did with people, you must have found out where they hang out. You would ask them, do you go to networking events? In the main companies in the market you're going after, that is. So if that's where they meet customers, then maybe that's where you ought to go, is the theory here, and it's reality. So the next is, if they are networkers, you've got kind of a green light, or kind of a let's go find them at the networking events that they show up in. So it behooves you to find the right ones. So how the heck do you do that? Well, chances are the companies that are going to networking events are services companies. So we're talking about a B2B kind of situation, you and their business. These are consulting firms, law firms, accounting firms, HR firms, recruiting firms, and the list goes on. And even some platforms that provide services in conjunction with professional services. So that's probably what we were talking about. It's not for B2C. Nobody goes to networking events to find customers to buy a thing for $1.98 or $12.95 or whatever. That's not where you look for customers in a B2C kind of situation. Probably you don't pick up users this way either. Now, you may go to these events to find investors and partners and things, but that's different. I'm talking about finding customers. So if you're in a business where your potential customers show up in networking events, then we got to figure out, well, which ones are they? So let's go through the steps on how to be successful at networking. First is select the right ones. So, you in your survey, as I mentioned earlier, market survey work, you might have found out where they predominantly go, what kind of events at least. Verify by past history. Posts and things like that, you read about what people are doing. You literally ask around town, what are the best networking events in town. You can go to meetup.com and do a search there. Go to the incubators, accelerators, any co-working space which probably has businesses in it, and visit and ask these people what networking events are the best in town. There are people like Networking with Nate at the Research Triangle Park area. He's famous. He publishes events for the week, every week. So you can pick from there. There's lots of ways to find out. There's no excuse for you not being able to find networking events where your potential customers might be showing up. So the next thing you do is get to know something about the event. They're usually published. You see them on Eventbrite. They put out invites. The calendars for all these organizations I just mentioned show these events. So there's a lot of triangulation or putting together the clues as to where your customers might be showing up the most. you gotta network to find out what networking events they go to. Talk to people. You got to be out and about in town to talk to people and ask about networking events and what do they prefer, who goes there, what kind of, not who by name, but what kind of people go there. So select the right ones. That's step one. Next is get prepared yourself. Now I'm going to talk about this in more detail, but I'm going to simply say prepare your icebreaker questions. These are the things you do to start a conversation with people. Break the ice. You know, you've heard that term before. Get your elevator pitch ready. It's maybe 2 minutes. Practice it a couple of times. You've probably done it many times before, but kind of hone it a little bit before you go. If you have gotten any intelligence on who is going to be there, you can decide you're going to target certain individuals. So when I go there, I'm going to talk to Joe and Sam and Sue and Fred, plus others. But there may be particular individuals that you want to meet. So when you go, you have a purpose. The purpose is to find marketing leads. And we're going to talk to you about this in a minute. What you do when you think you have one, or you suspect there might be one. Hold that thought a minute. But that's your purpose for being there. So be prepared that when you walk in that room, you're looking for leads. That's it. I'll say more about that in a minute or two. So the rules for attending. Now, nobody has published any rules, but here's the rules I suggest you follow. They're not rules by anyone, and there's no policeman going to lock you up or put handcuffs on you for any of this. But when you show up at one of these events, you are at work. You are at work. Period. You are not there for a party, to drink their wine and beer, fill your face with all their food, and look like a pig doing it. You're there to work. You're working the room, as the introduction to this little program indicated. So it's not play. You're not there to buzz about with your friends. You're trying to meet new people. You're not going to ignore your friends. You just say hi to them. Great to see you. You just tell them I'm going to try and meet some new people tonight. Thank you very much. I hope you have a good time. Move. You're gone. Meet new people. If you meet old people that you already know if they're a lead or not because you probably already talked to them. So don't bother. Don't closet yourself off in the corner and talk to your friend Susie or Fred most of the night or most of the networking part of the meeting because you're not working. You're supposed to be finding new people and engaging them, not just casually. When you go there, be prepared to do a lot of listening. 60, 70% maybe of your time is listening to the people you meet. Listen, because you're going to ask them questions. I'll get to that in a minute. So let's put all these rules and purpose together and see how we deploy all of this. When you enter the room or go to the meeting, and a person walks up to you or you walk up to another person, you can break the ice, as they say, by saying, well, hey, what brings you to this meeting? Or when you get into it a little bit further, you can say, tell me more about yourself. You might ask if some event is going on. It says, how did you enjoy this event? Boy, I thought it was great. What did you think? These are open-ended questions. You can't answer these by yes or no. Come up with your own. Those are typical ones. Particularly, tell me about yourself. That's a thoughtful question. It says you're interested, at least. And when you ask these questions, shut up. Do not blurt out all of what you do. This is not about you. This is about them. That's the way you're going to handle it. You'll get a chance to talk about yourself during this process I'm taking you through, but you start by asking questions and listening. Now, you're going to ask them questions about their business. You want to determine if they're a business owner or not. But you want to keep as another tool in your kit bag your elevator pitch I mentioned before. That's 2 minutes long. It's a typical, you explain the premise of your business, the solution you have for whatever opportunity or need you're fulfilling. You have, and you say the current status of your business. We're up and running and we have thousands of customers or something like that. That's about it. So the person you talk to gets a feel that you're a business owner and you have a business and it's either starting up or it's operational. Now also remember, have your business cards with you because you're going to give them a business card and you're going to take one from them, but later. Okay, now we got our tools and we're now in front of somebody. How do we handle this conversation? We've broken the ice, okay? And with this open-ended questions. So these are questions I would ask, but you can put it in your own words, but you are going to ask them eventually, tell me about your business. And listen for a while. And you might ask them then, what are the main needs that you're having that are still not fulfilled? Or what are the main issues you're facing that keep you up at night? Something like that. So get them to talk about, challenges that they have, unmet needs. And you, again, go quiet, listen. You may ask other follow-up questions during the course of them explaining these needs, but don't interrupt too much until you have got kind of the point they're making and move them on with another question that gets you further detail as you need it. Because they're going to say things you probably don't understand sometimes, or it tickles a thought that you want to know some other aspect of their needs. But in the course of this, you want to get a sense of their urgency to address this need. You ask them, well, geez, is there something you do about this, or are you planning on doing something about this soon? And then quiet again and listen to them talk about how important this need is. Because you want to work with people that have a need and they want it solved now, not next year or a few months from now, but now. That's urgency. And then if the conversation is going well, if this is important, you must have, some set aside in your operating budget to deal with this. It sounds like you need help with probably with some outside resources, and see how they answer it. If they say something like, well, we're going to put it in our budget at the end of the year. Our budgeting time is October. Okay, we're here in July or September. September wouldn't be too bad. It's only a month away. But if it's out in the distant future, you don't have an urgent need because they haven't set aside any money. People are very reluctant to bring up the subject of money. And it escapes me why you would not cover that very important subject, because they could have all the needs in the world, but if they can't pay for them, they're destitute, they don't have any money left. Oh, we're raising money and we'll get to this in our next round of funding. Well, that could be 3, 4, 5 months down the road. So that's not urgent. It may be urgent, but they don't have the wherewithal to do anything about it. You want to work with people that do have the wherewithal to actually fund the kind of help they're going to need. So that's a series of questions you had. You established those three things. They have a need and it's urgent and they can pay for it. 1, 2, 3, boom, boom, boom. And now you kind of got it. You got the picture. Now, during the course of all this, and keep in mind, this doesn't always go the way the script is laying out, because they're going to ask you questions too. They may turn right back around and ask you, well, what's your business all about? Well, you tell them. That's when you use your elevator pitch. Okay, I'm in this business. It's founded on the the premise that we want to solve this big problem that corporations have, and blah, blah, blah. And our solution for it is this wonderful software package, online subscriptions that provide the following services that there's in so much need for. We've been in business now for a year and a half. We're revenue producing, and we're growing. We're very happy about that. So you answer their question, and they may have follow-up questions. So you're getting to know each other. This is all okay. But you're listening for where you can help them. In fact, if you walk in this room in the first place with the attitude that I'm going to find people I can help, that'll help you get over maybe the fright of talking to someone, because you may be standing in front of somebody that you can materially help. That's a good thing. It'll make you feel good. And you can make a little bit of money doing it. Then, after you've had this back and forth about their needs, you make a decision. You're going to go one of two ways. If you believe that they are, in a sense, qualified, pre-qualified, let's say, because they answered positively to these three questions I just mentioned, the next thing for you to do, if you want to proceed, is to set up a follow-up meeting. Say, look, I think I can help you, and I'd like a chance to talk to you further, learn more about your needs, and see what comes of it. I'll share with you a little bit more about what we think we can do. Would you like to do that? Oh, sure. Yes, I do. I would. I do need the help. You say, okay, I'm going to send you an email tomorrow. And you damn well do that. Within 24 hours, you send them an email saying, I'd like to meet with you next Wednesday. I'd be glad to come to your office, or glad to do it over Zoom, or I'll meet you at a Panera, whatever. That you think they might be interested in at a specific time. And in the email, you give them some goodies. You give them links to interesting information that is pertinent to the conversation you had, links to specific places on your website that gives them further information of the kind of help you could provide. Not just, hey, go to my website. No, the link to the page that has information that you want to give them. Help them a little bit to find it, rather than searching around an incoherent website. Sorry, all your websites are not incoherent, but many are. Don't send them to one like that. The other decision you can make is, they don't need my help at this time, but you do not burn this bridge and say, see you later, I can't help you. No, you don't never say that. You say, I really appreciate spending a little bit of time with you tonight. I'd like to put you on my email list. Here's my card. I'd like to have yours. And if you'd like to hear more from me, we can stay in touch this way. I do this with many people. Would you like that? And they'll 9 times out of 10 say, sure. Boom, here's their card. So you're exchanging cards. In fact, you exchange cards either way, whether it's yes or no in terms of your next step. So don't burn the bridge with them. Stay in touch with them. You may want to follow up many months later. If they said, hey, look, I can talk to you again in November after we could complete this financing round, because I think I need the help, but I don't have the money to do it now. Yeah, kaboom. Give yourself a follow-up in your CRM database, a task to get back to them in November. So that's how you deal with the conversation. I hope that was helpful. I have really done this. I know this works. And you got to kind of be a little bit nimble on your feet, handling their questions in the midst of you trying to find out enough information where you can decide whether or not you can help them or not. So, believe it or not, that conversation I just took you through, it probably took me 15 minutes to explain it. You are going to do in 5 to 7 minutes, because you have other people to see in this room. You're working the room, not just one person. So the next thing you do is thank them very, very much for the time. I appreciate it. I'll get back to you tomorrow, as I said I would. I hope you enjoy the evening. And then move to another person and do this same thing over again. Just the same way, same routine, with the same tools, and with basically the same approach to it. They all go kind of different. Some will be wonderful conversations that you hate to stop. Some will be conversations we could end this right now. For varies all over the lot. So as I said earlier, go after the people you know you want to meet. You're not meeting people you already know. Why you're going to a networking event to meet people you already know. So when you do this follow-up I mentioned, again, within 24 hours, it's an email and give them something. And you're done. You've met many people. You have several follow-ups, either setting up a meeting or sending them, putting them on your newsletter list and sending a thank you email of some kind after you've talked to them. The next meeting that you have set up starts the qualification, the formal qualification process. And that should go quickly because you've already learned at least 5 to 7 minutes about their issues, but you want to know them more in depth. So you're going to have now a marketing qualification session face-to-face, either virtually or for real, to take the marketing qualification step in this process. And once they qualify, by the way, the qualification is about the same. They have this need, they want to solve it now, and they got the money to do it with, and they would like to proceed, assuming they get a proposal that makes sense. So after you've qualified them, you send them a proposal, and you're off and running, negotiating how you're going to help them and getting paid to do it. So that's it. That's a explanation of little 5 to 7 minute segments of a networking meeting and your involvement in it. So you're at work, not for play and not to get drunk and not to feed your face. Have dinner first. I'm kind of grumpy about this, as you can tell. So have some fun if you want, but you are mainly there. So have a happy time, but have a happy time helping people. Okay. I see I've got one question, and I tried to cover it, but maybe I didn't do it very well. So the question is, what if I have to talk first? Somebody did it to you. I think what maybe this means is that someone has approached you, or in the middle of your well-constructed act here, they're reasonably good networkers themselves, and they start asking you the same kinds of questions. Well, that will occur. Go with it. It might take you more than the 7 minutes because now you're going back and forth trading information, but go with it. What you're really doing is starting a relationship with someone you've never met before, or at least know of, but you haven't spent any time with. Enjoy it. Make the most of it to get to know each other. Most executives will do this to you if they really are interested in what you have to say. Or they may know of you because you're a person about town and they maybe have heard of you. So go with it, the answer to my question. This is kind of ad lib a little bit, or adapt and improvise, as the Marines say, because no battle plan like I just laid out ever goes right. You adapt and improvise. So do the same. So that's it for questions. I look forward to talking to you again next week. I hope this has been helpful. Again, my name is Bill Warner, and I'm with EntreDot. Good night.